Hey everyone, the River Rapids contest was a big success, for me at least. 18 people have submitted an entry in this contest. There were some really awesome entries in this round. Um, anyway, the community has cast their vote, and the results have already been announced in the Discord. But in this video, I will show you all the plots together with their score and a little bit of my opinion on them. Anyway, I will start with the one that ranked last, and I will go through all of them until at the end we reach the one that was the winner of this round. Okay, here we have the River Rapids that ended up in the last place. This one was made by Beth the Dork. Scenery wise, this one is probably not the most impressive. I do like the factory here though. Also with this inverted impulse coaster here and a launched freefall tower, some more track and texture here. Other than that, there's this rapids that go around on the splash boats track, and there's probably some chain lifts enabled on some parts of this track, because at some parts the boats go really fast, like you can see here. I think it's a pretty cool trick. Anyway, the story for this plot was also funny. Apparently this stuff was all delicious soda, and the people were hopelessly addicted to it. So that was quite funny. Anyway, probably, like I said, scenery-wise, not the most impressive, but still a good effort. I liked that this was the only plot that used a different watercolor. Now, in 17th place, we have this River Rapids made by Nick Badlick. I hope I pronounced that correctly. He did follow the tutorial well. You can see these nice drops here made with splash boats track. The supports are kind of weird. He used a twister coaster track there, and there's still lots of water next to the track. It would probably be nicer if it had been filled up with land and bushes, trees and stuff. There's some cogwheels here which the boats travel through, and a different coaster track here. And here there's even more different coaster track. So yeah, it's the problem this thing has probably is that it's not really consistent. But still, at least I like the landscaping that was done, and I like the fact that the splash boat track was used for the drops. Okay, in 16th place we have this River Rapids called Average Rapids, made by the Infisher. Yeah, I can see why this name was chosen. These rapids don't really stand out, but at least they look decent. So yeah, there's a miniature train going around the plot. There's some nice mountain backdrop here, which is cool, and also some monorails used for supports, and some waterfalls here right next to the track. So yeah, it definitely deserves the name Average Rapids, but yeah, it does sort of look nice. Now, in 15th place we have this River Rapids made by Beach SMG. So yeah, there's these river rapids just going around here on this. It actually is made to look like a sort of a sea, I guess, with all these buoys. Some scenery here from the expansion packs. I do like these. I don't know what they're called. These pipes, let's call them pipes, where it looks like the water is coming from them because of this fountain. So that's a pretty cool trick. Other than that, yeah, these boats really don't have a reason for going around the curve here. Maybe they should have had some sort of guardrail in the water, or just really some barriers. Then it would have probably been a little bit more believable. I do like this rotodrop sticking out here in the middle. It's probably an underground entrance here, so that's quite cool. Now inside these buildings we have some some tricks here. So there's actually a water spout here, and actually the boats get drawn underwater here to a lower level. So that's okay. It's not very realistic, but it is a cool trick at least. And right here the boats enter another building, and they go underground here, as you can see. And then here at the location of this tornado, they go above ground again, and they jump out onto this ramp. So yeah, not very realistic, but it's just a funny trick. But yeah, this plot was probably this ride was probably made on a map that was a little bit too big, but who cares, right? But yeah, the stuff here that is here is quite funny to look at. I think the buildings are a bit too big and a little bit bland, but everything that's here is quite cool. Also, yeah, the track crosses itself a few times, so oof, that just went well. So yeah, the track crosses itself a few times, which makes it look a little bit more random how the boats are behaving. So yeah, I guess that's nice. Alright, in 14th place we have this riff rapids made by Hallowed Webbit, now known as Big Webbit on our Discord. So yeah, there's this river rapids right here in this jungle landscape with some castle towers. The scenery looks really like it was just spammed down, and he probably should have filled the gap between the rails and the land, which I actually showed how to do in a nice way in my video. So yeah, that's probably what kept him from scoring higher. And also these plants really looked like they were spammed down in a hurry. But yeah, at least the lift hill here was done in a nice way. I like the bridge over the track here. So these monorail walls also have a gap between them. It would have probably been nicer if it was also filled. And yeah, well, it looks sort of nice to look at. I think it's yeah, quite rushed. It was probably made in quite a short time. Alright, here we have the entry made by Yi Bagoon. Okay, he made a really cool landscape here with some towers and the river rapids actually going down this tube. Well, they're obviously a little bit too big for the tube, that's why they're clipping out. But the idea is fun. Here it says deep breath. That's probably because they go down here through this water spout and then down this mountain out of the waterfall. I like the sign here. 2 days without incident. Impressive. Anyway, an obvious problem this plot has is that these water tiles all became glitchy. That's, well, yeah, the game doesn't expect any objects to be drawn under the water, so any water that's above the objects usually will get glitchy. Unless you go in Tile Inspector and you actually move the objects under surface in the order. So yeah, if that was done for all the scenery and track pieces that were underwater, then the water wouldn't be so glitchy. And it would have probably made the score a little bit better. But I do like these Manta trains that actually go underwater. It's called Manta style, and that's pretty cool. I also like how he made the guardrails here around the track. Well, obviously he went a little bit too much to the map edge, but I like how he used different colors for the monorail and how he put the steeplechase track on top. That's quite cool. Alright, then we have this plot made by Mackett. Well, it didn't score too well, but it was one of my favorites. I actually gave it a 9. I just really love the color choices for this plot. I really like how the red combines with all the other colors of the landscape. I really like this nice compact river rapids, and really great track texture. Also like the scenery that was put around it and the path over the track here. So a little car ride here. Yeah, in my opinion, this is really one of the best river rapids that were made. But of course, I'm not the only one who has to judge these plots. So maybe could have used some guide rails around the track. But yeah, the landscaping, in my opinion, makes it convincing that the boats are actually turning around here. But yeah, like I said, I'm not the only one who should be impressed by these rides. But in my opinion, really great job. Okay, here we have the next plot, River Rapids, made by Ryan, UK House, or UK US. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. But anyway, let me change the weather. So this was a really nice entry. He did use a little bit too many rides that were actually in test mode, that was not allowed. So I actually closed them. So these were actually rotating, and there were more of these rotor drops being launched upwards. But yeah, that was not allowed. I really like how he made the station here. This looks really nice with the top hats used as arches. That looks really nice. There's some really nice constructions along the track. There's a vertical lift here. That's also something I really like. Some nice guardrails here around the track. The boats drop down the waterfalls here. Well, that probably looks a little bit dangerous. I would have used the drops from the splash boats here. That would have probably looked a little bit more realistic. This is just silly in my opinion. But yeah. I also really like the buildings that were made here. They look really cool. And also this looks awesome. He should have probably named his track texture just to make it more clear what every part actually is. But yeah, it just looks, the track texture here looks really nice. Also I really like this pipeline that was built over the rapids here. Alright, on to the next entry. Now in 10th place we have this plot made by Mamarias. This is also again one that's nice and compact. I really like the way these guardrails look. He kept the support for the steeplechase intact, and that actually looks quite nice. Also he just put some boats here next to the track. That's also quite cool. And here there's a crazy building in which they spiral upwards. That's actually quite cool. So he probably used the track for the spiral coaster here to make them go upwards. And because this ride doesn't have those elements, the track became invisible here. And I like how the boats actually rotate a lot while going upwards. That's a pretty cool effect. And then they go down this spiral here, and then through this track here under the waterfall, and through this track with guardrails around it. Now this drop over the waterfall is probably a bit more believable than the one in the previous entry, because it actually still shows some track, so they wouldn't just fall down. But yeah, overall it's small, but it looks really comfortable. So a really nice entry. Alright, then in 9th place we have this entry made by ZEI. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Why do you guys all have such difficult usernames? But yeah, this is a river rapids in a big rocky landscape. The landscaping looks quite nice. There's also some airplanes going around, but I think they lack a bit of speed. They go around really slowly here. Probably they could have used some chain lifts here, or maybe the chain lift speed just had to be set a little bit higher. But yeah, this track could have probably used some guide rails, because, for example, the boats go down this drop here, and there's really nothing that looks like it would be guiding them towards this part of the track. And of course, there's also stuff like this big drop here, and the boat's just making a sudden turn into this area. Guide rail or some more distance in the water would have probably been a bit better here, in my opinion. So at the end, there's this big drop here. It actually uses the holding brake from the vertical drop roller coaster, but it's made invisible. So the boats actually float up here for a few seconds before they plunge down and then jump over the original track. Now they actually go through this jump here really fast, which in my opinion makes it look a little bit awkward. But it is a cool effect. And the planes just crashed. They were stuck last. There's probably a little bit too many trains for the small station that it had. RIP. Alright, in 8th place we have this river rapids made by Julia Mild. Julia Mild was inspired by the Efteling, so park in the Netherlands. And probably this ride was supposed to look like Piranha, Royal Piranha. Yes, that makes sense. So yeah, big building here, lots of text scrolling around. I'm not gonna try to read it now. Some really nice big buildings here. I really like the way these buildings look. And there's also a miniature train going around the land. Also through some more really nice buildings. And something I really liked about these rapids was that they actually go around in circles sometimes. So it really looks like they're like a wild river at some points. Also some of these guiding rotating barrels, that's also quite cool. But yeah, I think the trees on this land and the plants were done really well. That's also one of my favorite things about this entry. So yeah, these trees were buried a bit, and together with all these ferns, this was all done. The plants in this entry were all done really well. So yeah, definitely one of my favorites of this round. Also, I like that you can see part of Joris and the Draak, the wooden coasters in the Efteling. So I think that's quite a cool touch. Alright, in 7th place we have this entry made by Lycos Jen. So yeah, he made this really big mountainous landscape with some cool buildings, and I really like this diagonal lift hill. That actually looks quite nice for these river rapids. So I guess the station is here in the building. It's a circular station. And I really like the way he made these drops. So yeah, the boats are actually guided by the landscape here, which is done quite well. And these drops look really nice, also with the rapids pieces under them, which really makes it look a little bit more realistic, I guess. Some nice waterfalls here along the track. And I really like the way these rapids here have been done. That looks really nice. So yeah, lots of track texture here, and it's all done in a really good way. So a little bit of guiding rail here, so they don't plunge down the waterfall. And there's also a Ferris wheel here, used as one of these water wheels, which also look really nice. So yeah, I really like the way this looks. Oh yeah, also there's a closed log flume here that looks like one of these sawmills with logs underwater. That's also a really cool touch. And I guess this is a broken down building, closed roaring mine. So yeah, lots of cool details in this entry. Really good job. Alright, and in 6th place we have this plot made by Tom Knarren. He wanted to make the Swiss city of Zurich. He put many buildings down here, and these buildings all look really nice, some really good layering on the buildings. He combined the expansion objects with the objects from the original game, and I think they meshed together quite well here. So yeah, some really nice looking buildings. Also there's some chairlifts going around here. What I really like on the chairlift is how we combined the mini golf track with the steeplechase track to make the supports for this chairlift. I think that they make a really good combination. So that's something I really enjoy. It's a big Swiss flag here on top. And here you can also see the rapids that go around all over this mountain. Lots of height difference. I just wish we could see a little bit more of the rapids. For most of the ride, they're not easily visible between all the trees. There used to be more trees here, but I advised Tom to put some bushes in some places just so we could see some more of the actual rapids. So yeah, and the end result of 6th place out of 18 is definitely not bad at all. And there's many trees, but I think the trees are done in a nice way. So good job, Tom Knarren. I hope we see more from you in the future. Alright, in 5th place we have this River Rapids entry made by De Martijn. He tried to make scenes from Jurassic Park. I personally rated this entry really high. I just really loved the tracky texture that was done on this plot. I loved the building and especially all the trees here. They look really nice together. Also really like the decorations around here made with the chairlift track. And yeah, I rated this the maximum score I could give it. So there's helicopters going around here, and there's a little roto drop here called Pterosaur. But yeah, this was one of my favorite plots or entries of this round. It's just everything looks really nice, including the station here. I really like the way this station looks. It's really well done with the track texture, and I also really like the roof that he made for it. So these whirlpools are done in quite a cool way. So he put some rapids pieces underwater, and here at the end there's this big drop. He also hid some Easter eggs. Well, I'm not really familiar with the movie, but here you can see a guy named John Hammond, and so he is surrounded by several security guards and some dinosaurs and fire. It's probably a scene from the movie, but probably these are also references to Jurassic Park. But yeah, really cool plot. It ended up in 5th place, but personally this was one of my favorites of the round. Alright, then we go to the top 4. In 4th place we have this entry made by Swag Titties. Nice username. He already posted this one on Reddit, so everybody could already see it. And this entry is really nice. I keep saying plot instead of entry, probably because I'm used to showing the multiplayer plots. Anyway, he also came with a cool story about a mansion on the top of the hill here. So here you can see the haunted mansion. And I really like how the guests actually enter through this mineshaft building. These haunted house and the mineshaft building actually go really well together. Some really nice buildings also for the station here. This looks really nice. I also really like the way he did the supports here, and the way he filled up the gap between the land and the support, like I showed in my tutorial video. That looks really nice. Also, we put some of these rusty walls here on on the wall, just as some decoration. It also looks really good in my opinion. Well, yeah, the decorations all around the track are done really well. So one thing I really like is this bridge he made here over this sort of canyon, and of course there's the planes going around on this plot. Well, not really realistic, because they really go between the trees and stuff, and they dive under this bridge. Well, not realistic. It is it's really a fun element to this entry. So yeah, a really nice entry, and not surprising it got 4th place. Alright, here we have the 3rd place. This plot was made by Whacked, and I personally also gave this plot the maximum score. This is just really great track texture all around. These buildings really look awesome. I love the color choices, the different layers on the building. They're just all really interesting to look at. There's some really good track texture all around the entry. I love how the boats actually go up this hill here, which is covered, and they actually travel above the other river rapids track. So yeah, this is really one of the favorites of mine of this round. So some really nice decorations here. I really like the steeplechase track above the paths. That's a really nice touch in my opinion. There's some nice stairs here, which were actually made with track pieces. And just yeah, I really love everything about this entry. One thing I also really like is how there's a building here which holds some extra boats. That's also a really cool touch. So yeah, he just put a closed ride here, which has some river rapids spawned on the track. You normally don't see them, but it's details like these that I really like. And I guess this pipe is made to pump up water from the lowest level back up again to the top. So yeah, really wonderful entry. Also, I really like the building here with the 3D cinema dome. That's also really nice. So yeah, definitely one of my favorites of the round. Just really an awesome entry. Alright, in 2nd place we have another awesome entry. This one's made by Hank the Super Nerd. He recently joined my Discord, but he has already shown some really amazing stuff, and this river rapids is no exception. So yeah, some really nice buildings here in this entry. The river rapids do some crazy shenanigans here with a long curved drop. Some really nice usage here of the expansion objects. I think he combined them really well with these jungle trees. Some nice guardrails along the track here. He also made a vertical lift here, after which also the boats drop down vertically. That's probably not very realistic, but it is a fun element at least. Also again with holding brakes before the drop, and then they go over the water here at high speed. They go through a tunnel here around this track, and then there's a really cool part because they actually do part of the track underwater. So yeah, you can actually see a boat go around the track here underwater. So yeah, that's really something no one else did, and that's really also one of my favorite parts of this entry. Also some underwater temples here. That all just looks really good. And one other thing that I really liked about this entry is these shark coaster trains. Well, they only have one car, but yeah, that's an expansion object, and because he made the train so short, it just looks like there's actually sharks going around here in the water, and they actually jump out of the water here for a bit, and that's just such a cool trick. So yeah, I also gave this entry the maximum score, so just because I loved all the shenanigans that are going around here so much. So yeah, just an awesome entry. So a well-deserved second place. So now let's go to the winner of this round. And the winning entry of this round are these rapids made by Wizard IRL. This is also amazing. I really love the buildings that were put here, and I think this plot has the maximum water height at this point. There's some really great buildings here, great track texture. You can actually see the boats here go on this chain lift, which really goes from the lowest, almost the lowest water level possible to the highest water level possible. This is just some awesome stuff here. There's also a train going around the land here, so with some big height differences. But yeah, the track texture on this entry is really amazing. I really love the wooden coaster track here under the miniature coaster track. Some nice supports here in the corner, nice guardrails. Just overall awesomeness on this plot. I actually rated this plot 9 out of 10. The only thing that stopped me from giving it a 10 was that well, the river rapids probably go from this waterfall in quite a weird way. I would have probably just used the splash boats track for this at least. But yeah, overall, I think it's definitely deserves to win this round. And I can see why everybody rated this one highly. Just great foliage, great plants overall in the plot, great buildings, great everything. So yeah. Anyway, those were all the 18 entries of this River Rapids contest. I'm really happy with the end result. I'm really happy. We got 18 submissions and I never expected to get that many. So I think we can consider this round a success. Anyway, we will have a short break now, and in March, which is actually already in a few days, we will start a new contest. But what you will have to build will actually still be a secret. But it will be announced again in a YouTube video. So stay tuned for that one. You will see it in a few days. Alright, that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed all the entries of this contest, and I hope to see you again in the next video. See you later.